The FHSU Art Gallery has been open for a week and will be open until Friday, April 15th. Many students worked hard to create these pieces, and to be accepted is a huge honor. I had a chance to interview 3 of many artists whose pieces were chosen to be placed in the honors exhibition.
So this piece is obviously me. I kind of created it using a lot of symbolism. I did a lot of research about what different kinds of animals and insects mean, including the flowers. We were supposed to kind of create a scene where there's some sort of distress and a sort of, I wouldn't say crime, but just kind of some sort of conflict. And so I looked up what animals can represent conflict, and alligators represent some sort of turmoil and stress, and they're a very common animal that represent distress. So I used that, and then I used myself as just kind of the subject matter, kind of representing my life so far. And with bumblebees, they represent, it's pretty obvious, they pretty much represent hard work and endurance, as they are they work very hard constantly throughout their lives. And then orchids represent diligence. So they're one of the hardest flowers to grow. So I kind of based it off of your hard work through any kind of conflict. Just kind of gives you an end product of something that's very difficult to achieve.
Here is called Veduta de Bacchus, and just a little terminology lesson. Veduta is a word that was coined in the 17th century by European artists on the Grand Tour, and they would use it to basically explain what they saw on their trip. If they saw the Colosseum or the Pantheon, this would be a little painting they would do as a sample of what they saw, and they'd make it exactly as to how they saw it. And this painting, I had a lot of inspiration from a book called The Invisible Cities. It's a fantastic little novel. There's all these different stories in there about Kubla Khan and Marco Polo on their expeditions, and they found all these crazy cities around their time, and they had these, this guy, the author of the book, he wrote these poems on each city, and my city was Bacchus in the book. And Bacchus is this city that's described as you're already there, but you can't see it. All you can see are the stilts that are flamingo-like coming down from the sky. So when I was painting this, I decided I want to literally put flamingo legs, and I put a flamingo in the painting as well with one of my goblin troll people riding on them. These guys with the turbans were never originally intended to be in this painting, but I decided to add them in there just because I thought it'd be fun to have some sort of element produce a nice quality of depth towards this path that leads to the beginning of the ladder which goes to the city. Because in the book, the city is described as a congregation of people that either do not like living among other civilians on the planet, or they love it so much they don't feel deserving of living on it. And just like that little excerpt from the book of Bacchus, I like to leave this painting as an open question as to what these people think of the earth and the society which is established on it.
This is my board game that I created for our portfolio class. The challenge was to create a version of Chutes and Ladders and then add your own style and rules to it. So this is called The Four Winds. It's based on a fable that I wrote. So it has these 4 characters that I created. And then you can also see on the lid here. And then I also have an illustration that goes along with it over there. And so this is an illustration because right now I'm writing and digitally illustrating the storybook that would partner with the board game, and that'll actually be in the spring art walk as well. So that's kind of a pet project that I just kind of chose to do on my own, and then I'm also using it for one of my painting courses for my minor in painting. And so I do a lot of these digital illustrations. It's all done or I sketch it out and then it's all done on the computer, painted in Photoshop. And that's something that I picked up on my own outside of the graphics program that I've been able to add into the graphics program, so it's a lot of fun.
For TMN News, I'm Alex DeNicola.